And let's see how the internet did react to the game yesterday. I'm going to start off with Brock at Stunning Spurs, and he says he did some research on our results, so you all don't have to. It was painful, but it's highly illuminating. Ange Postecoglou's system is heavily dependent on the defence stabilising the team and allowing us to sustain pressure. The fullbacks inverting properly are also paramount to the system's success. Ange Postecoglou has managed 68 games for Tottenham, and he has had the first choice back five: Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, and Doggy for 25 of those matches. Only 30% of all matches.
Wow, so low.
In the 25 matches with our first choice back five, 14 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses for 47 points, 1.88 points per game. In the 43 matches without our first choice back five, 19 wins, 6 draws, 18 losses for 63 points, 1.47 points per game. This season alone, Ange has only been able to start the back five, first choice back 5 in 8 out of 27 matches, only 30% of all matches. He's clearly been dealt a bad hand with injuries and should be afforded time to reshape the squad again.
I think that's a fair point. I think that's a good analysis, in my opinion. Albeit, yeah, you could argue every team has injuries, and how often are you ever going to get your first choice back five in there, and you should be able to. But maybe that suggests that we should be doing a lot better when it comes to recruiting players who can fill in for injured players, and maybe that's a big problem. Maybe that's then something we definitely need to focus on, because right now maybe the players stepping in are not require quality to play this system. I think that's also a very good point as well. But I think it shows and 1.88 is not like perfect. I'm not saying that's a top team, but as I say, if we had 1.8 throughout this whole season, right, we would be in like third position right now. So that's how tight the league is. So I think. And no one would be saying Ange out if that was the case, but I think it's a good analysis. It shows how big of a drop off there is when at the moment we're having injuries like we do. Yeah,
I mean it's 25 matches, so it is quite significant. And with 14 wins, 6 losses is also significant. But I believe, obviously I don't know for a fact, but I believe that the injuries do happen because of I don't know what it is, but I do believe that Ange has got something to do with it.
Maybe. I mean, would we have no injuries under a new manager? I don't know.
Look, that's going overboard. Like no injuries. Of course, you're going to have injuries, but the level of injuries is just too much.
Yeah, hamstring injuries. It can't be a coincidence. But whether it's purely down to him, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyone can say for sure, but it might be.
Seb Martin says, "When I tell you I lost my head," and this was. This was Timo Werner running it out of play yesterday. Once again.
Every game he runs it out of play. At least once. And yeah, that was very frustrating as well. God, as well. And the 90, you need someone to you're trying to pull something out of the bag. You just got someone running it out of play in bloody stoppage time. So frustrating.
Next up's Blue Deer saying the seats are almost full, and look at this, all our injured players front row yesterday.
Yeah. Nearly got a squad full of injured players. Yeah. Oh, one thing we didn't mention is Yang Min Hyuk's going to be available now from the next game.
Yeah, that's true. Yang Min Hyuk
watching on. Hopefully, look, I'm not expecting him to come in and make an impact, but another body can't harm it. Can't hurt.
Yeah. Do you see him playing any part in the Newcastle game?
Do I see him playing any part in the Newcastle game? I mean, he'll probably be on the bench considering our injuries, to be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes on if we're chasing the game or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if he plays a small part. Well, I guess depends. Maybe Ange looks him in training, thinks actually he's not ready at all and just won't play him. But I think he'll probably have to be on the bench. I don't think we have a choice.
He should start the Tamworth game.
Yeah.
Dahlia says them three, and this is Sonny, Huang, and Yang. All talking after the game yesterday.
Yeah, Yang looks a bit left out, to be honest. I think the big boys are talking over there. But yeah, hopefully Yang can start feeling part of it.
Tadarius do love how our players comfort their captain. The players support each other through thick and thin, which fans could definitely learn from them.
Is that after his missed penalty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, I think that's just after we scored, actually. So he missed the penalty, but then it was just going into half time. Yeah, it must be going into half time because he was still on. So yeah, look, of course they're going to try and comfort him after the penalty. They're not going to lay into him. They know that if it was the opposite way around, he would do the same. So no surprise to me.
Next one is the embrace, Hwang and Sonny embrace at the end of the game. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, lovely moment after the game for them.
Carly on you Spurs says, walking without crutches. Save us, Vicario. The crutches are off.
Yeah, maybe he's getting closer. Let's
Well,
hope.
he is getting closer to March, yeah.
Yeah,
As the days go by.
Hopefully he can surprise us. But he's still got a big boot on, you can see on his left foot there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see if there's if he's put his crutches down or something, or he's just not got any. Yeah.
This is Mari7 showing us Hwang Hee-chan doing Son dirty yesterday.
So where is
No
he?
way to treat your national hero. He's there next to Dragoshin.
Oh, there you go, left. Yeah, you can see. Go left, go left.
Did him completely dirty, Hwang.
Well, he was absolutely spot on, wasn't he? Shame.
Next one saying, this is the same one about the players comforting Sonny. Spurs Watch saying 5 home league matches without a win, worst run since 2008, and that's a draw. A loss to Ipswich, a draw to Fulham, a loss to Chelsea, loss to Liverpool, and a draw to Wolves.
Yeah, it's obviously not good enough. We know that. And we have to turn it around. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, looking at that, it's not great. It's not great at all.
And just before that Ipswich game, the last win was Aston Villa, and after that, it said the stadium's a fortress.
You did. Fortress has been broken down. Not quite Fort Knox.
Cody Mack says part of Maddison clapping back at fans is the culture the manager sets. Multiple times he's had public altercations with fans. He's had a few digs at us in interviews as well. He's been way more disrespectful of us fans than Conte, in my opinion. But I'm told Conte hated us. Does Ange?
I mean, I think he's really way too much into that. I mean, what's he? I mean, is he based in what Ange said after the City game? Is that last year? Is that what that's what he's insinuating? I mean,
Before the City game, yeah.
Before the City game, I mean,
well, there was also that altercation he had with a fan a lot earlier than that. I can't remember which game it was at, but it was in the stands, wasn't it?
that was the City game
Was it a City game? I
last
thought.
season.
Oh yeah, it was a City game, wasn't it? Did it not happen again before that as well?
What happened to Bournemouth?
No, there was those two. Wasn't there a moment last season as well before the City game where he had an altercation with a fan?
I think I just remember the one in the City game. Look, I don't think what's Ange really done to say he hates us. I mean, he's been disrespectful. I mean, I think that's a bit of a stretch, in my opinion. I don't think he's done really much. So yeah, he's clapped back at a couple of fans who's been shouting abuse at him in the stands, but the abuse is completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Ange to be disrespectful, to be honest.
Alex THFC says, this is our vice captain. Holy fuck, just liquidate the club. So this was last night. Obviously, we all saw we'll see pictures of it in a minute, but Maddison and Brennan Johnson at the darts last night. And Spursy News commented on it saying, you taking the piss, the form we're in, and you go to the darts, unacceptable. And then Madders replies saying, shut up, you Wally, with a laughing emoji. I'm sure it's after a few beers as well.
He's taking it lightheartedly, I think.
And I just, first of all, do I think that they should be... look, they've got their own lives. They can do what they want after the game. But I just don't think he should be replying to anything on social media like that. There's just no need for it.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't reply. I don't have a massive issue with it, but he probably shouldn't. It's not a good look. I think he's obviously clearly, it's a light-hearted joke. I don't think he's angrily saying, shut up! He's saying, shut up, you Ollie. Like, get on, like basically just concentrate on your own.
Yeah, but you know what reaction it's going to bring.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stupid thing to say, but I don't think it's that big of an issue. I think, actually, it's not a good thing, but look, I think these players at the moment, they need to take their mind off Spurs for a couple of days. I think that'll help. I really do. I think they're mentally fatigued and we're in a rut at the moment, and they just need some sort of refresh. And I think going to the darts, just enjoying yourself for a couple of days. As Ange said, spend your time with a bit of family for a bit. Like, just get out of this. At the moment, it's game and game and game and game, and it's not helping things right now. The how intense and we're concentrating so much on each game, and we're trying to get these points. And I think the players are trying as hard as they can, to be honest. But they just need, I think maybe they need a bit of a mental refresh as much as a physical one. And I think, go to the darts, do that. I think, for me, I think they need to do that.
What I didn't like, though, yesterday, I was actually speaking to someone that was in the players' lounge yesterday after the game. And they were telling me, like, literally straight after the game, players are coming into this lounge and they're just like so happy, like laughing and joking, and it doesn't look like the result or the performance like seem to affect them whatsoever. And two of those players I'm going to talk about is Brennan Johnson and Bentancur, and particularly Bentancur, that gets that booking after a 7-match ban. To get that booking and a few minutes later you're laughing and joking coming into a thing, it just doesn't sit right with me. I'm not saying the players shouldn't laugh and joke after the game, but
so you weren't there.
But the emotion should be raw.
You're getting it second hand, right?
Yeah, obviously I wasn't there. Yeah, I was with you.
I'm saying you were getting it second hand, this information. So, who knows what he perceived, what he actually saw, and what he's saying. Look, maybe they were laughing and joking. Maybe someone said a joke and he laughed. I don't know the situation, but I think second hand information like that, there's a lot of Chinese whispers, I think, a lot of the time. But he might have been, and maybe, I don't know what the situation is, but maybe he was really down, and then someone tried to cheer him up, and all of a sudden you saw him laughing. But doesn't mean that the result doesn't affect them or anything. Yeah,
it's just not a good look, though, is it? And like when you see the fans how frustrated they are, and the players just laughing and joking, look. I'm not saying that they don't care, but optically it just doesn't look good.
Again, but you as well. You're taking the second-hand information. You have to trust that he definitely saw what he saw and all this kind of thing. I don't know.
Tottenham Hotspur 1882_Tottenham says, I've realised I'm in the minority, fed up with the game, disappointed with the result, leave on the final whistle and see loads of fans smiling, drinking and dancing to a band. Levy has us all in the palm of his hand.
I think everyone's just, it's New Year's kind of, it's that festive period where it's Christmas and everyone's probably got some time off work and just having a few drinks. As not everyone. Look, we're us as fans in this community and Tottenham fans on Twitter, whatever, we're not the majority of Tottenham fans. We live and breathe the club. This is our life. For some people, they just like to go to the game and have a drink. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, yes, we're personally depressed and not happy with the situation. This is our lives, right? We live and breathe the club. But some fans just want to go to the game, watch some football, and have a drink, and they shouldn't be criticised.
And that's what's wrong with this football club. They're the problem.
Come on. But, and I get what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with some people. This isn't their whole life. Their happiness isn't determined by whether we win or lose. They enjoy the game. They
bloody well should be.
That's us. I'm not going to dictate everyone should be like us. We're crazy. We're obsessed. That's different. And I love being obsessed with football. Don't get me wrong. I live and breathe the club. But I'm not going to criticise people who just want to go and watch the game. That's their prerogative. There's no problem with that.
Tottenham, that Tottenham feed says true. Spurs fans beating Man City on the 4-0 23rd of November, 29th of December. Pretty much reality.
Put me in the Squid Game, I think. At this point, get me in it.
Jay says Bentancur probably celebrating right now, thinking Son scored.
For God's sake, move on.
David actually sent that one to us.
Oh God.
THFC Tyree says, unpopular opinion, Sonny is tired and shouldn't have started for the 7th Spurs game in a row. And I said that before the game.
Yeah, but also Timo Werner.
Yeah. But also, you say also Timo Werner, but I think there's more value in starting Timo and giving Sonny a rest so Sonny can come back fresher for the next game.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but also Timo Werner.
Football Confidential saying, by the way, Rodrigo Bentancur, fresh back from following an 8-game ban, lunges in on 96th minute, collects a needless 5th yellow card and now misses yet another game against Newcastle. Brainless, absolutely brainless. This is Spurs all over, brainless.
Yeah, all 7-game ban, but yeah, just a little minor correction.
Mari says, stay strong, Sonny.
Look, I'm sure he'll come back from it, but clearly, it was just not a good game from yesterday, and he's not being shot on rather than passing to players in better situations. There's no doubt about it. That's cause of the kind of performances he's had over the last few games.
Spurs Express saying Son Heung-min on the penalty miss. He says, I'm sorry in an interview with Neva.
I forgive you, Sonny, don't worry.
Yeah. And in the same interview, in the next quote, says, the most important thing is that the team members recover well. There are some parts of injuries that need to be managed well. I told you before this season, but there are so many games that there are cases where injuries are inevitable. I think we should pay attention to these parts. I'm thinking once again that the club should pay more attention to this.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they should. It's, as I said, it can't be a coincidence what's with the amount of hamstring injuries. And I mean, look, as I said, there are some injuries that you can't do anything about, like Vicario and stuff, and maybe even the Romero one. You can't really do much about those. But the amount of hamstring injuries we're getting, the fact there's about 6, and also the most important one is the recurring injuries.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big problem. I think each player, right, that's injured has had a recurring injury. Doggy, he's been injured. Odebear came back.
Doggy, Odebear, Van der Ven.
Richarlison, Van der Ven.
Davis.
Davis hasn't had a recurring one.
Yeah, he has.
Did he?
Yeah.
He came back and had a hamstring.
Yeah, and he's got another hamstring. He just got it in training.
Right, he got it in training. Yeah, Davis. So that's something that clearly they need to have a massive review about why that is happening and how to fix that, because that can't continue. It's really derailing us.
Mm-hmm. Next one again is the 3 Koreans behind the scenes. We'll move on to PDC tweeting out saying from football to the darts, and this sent Spurs social media into just overdrive yesterday.
Yeah, people who don't like seeing players smiling after a bad result, but look, these guys got to switch off somehow, and I don't blame them. I think it's, in my opinion, I think they at this point we got a little bit of a break right now, a bit of time to refresh, and I think I don't blame them for doing it, for going.
So they're cooling down by putting themselves in a place where they're just constantly singing Tottenham get battered everywhere they go.
But there's also Levy out things. There's
Levy out posters. Yeah. Do you reckon they had their Levy out posters yesterday?
Yeah, maybe you wrote one.
George Akelia says, we did change tactics today, by the way, far more defensive than usual, with Porro and Udogie barely going forward, Basuma and Bentancur relatively deep, and it still wasn't working.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it wasn't working, but obviously we lost. We created.
It wasn't exactly a great
chances.
performance.
No, it wasn't a great performance, but it was. I think it was enough to win the game. He is right. The fullbacks were definitely a bit deeper. It seems they weren't as high as they usually are, as it shows. Looks like Bentancur and Basuma double pivot as well, but we still conceded right at the end. And was it because we weren't too defensive? We conceded the end. It's up to you to decide. I don't know if that's true or not.
Adita Singh says, you can blame him all you want, but Ange's playing style is the only reason why we're always in a position to win these games despite all the injuries and fatigue. We create big chances in almost every game, but he can't put the ball in the back of the net, can he?
No, he can't. That's true.
We're always in a position to win these games, but, I mean, we've barely won a game.
Doesn't mean we're not in position to.
Great. Sean at THFC saying, if you're watching the game and Ange's in your top 10 reasons as to why we haven't won, then wake up. Fatigue, player quality, lack of options off the bench, poor finishing and poor decision making, along with the revitalised Wolves side. Changing manager achieves nada.
I mean, I agree, but...
Yeah, look, I mean, we've been through it millions of times. I just don't think Ange's done a good job at the club.
That's fair enough. I mean, I can't see he's done a good job, but I think there are reasons for it.
Tetrunk says, Kulusevski's performance thus far today is a prime of example why he's absolutely has to be prioritised over Maddison. Just does not stop running and fighting for every ball. Warrior, never hides. Get him on a long contract and build the team around him. Talismanic.
I mean, he's so good, isn't he, Decky? Even in right now, he's clear. Even I think yesterday I thought he was even struggling with kind of to be at his top physical level. Yet he was still pulling things out of the hat. It's just brilliant.
BLTHFC says results are inexcusable, and he's probably not going to last past January. But today has shown so many people. So many people use these words like in-game management with zero clue. Thought it was all right today, but someone was angry he didn't take Bentancur off. He had a yellow card in the 90+ fifth minute.
I don't know about the latter part, but yeah, I think a lot of people just hang on to narratives, which I think a lot of the time are rubbish. Like, and they hear the media say and stuff like that and think that it's true, but
it's not Ange's fault that Bentancur got that yellow card. Bentancur shouldn't have come off. He was one of the freshest players on the team. It's Bentancur's an idiot for getting that booking.
Correct.
That's all it is. THFC RT says, please tell me which manager in world football will do better with a left-hand side of Reguilon and Werner, Fraser Forster in goal, back two of Dragoshin and Archie Gray, who is great when he's an 18-year-old centre mid. Andoni.
I mean, I don't know if there's any guarantee of that.
No, there's no guarantee of anything, is there?
No.
Super Spurs says, finished the game with an 18-year-old centre mid at centre back, a left back who we've tried to sell for years, a Werner at left wing, a keeper from the Stone Age, a bench of children, sack the manager. I'm not even bothered now. The next manager will also have what is listed above. Levy is poison to football. And yeah, I've always said Levy is obviously the biggest problem at this football club. But everyone's using Timo Werner as a stick to beat Ange with. Well, Ange brought him in.
I agree with that.
Twice.
I agree with that. I absolutely. And that was clearly the wrong decision. I think he knows it was the wrong decision at this point. I think he's aware of it. But
he should have known it was the wrong decision at the end of last season.
100%. I agree with that. I think that Ange has to take responsibility for Timo. But it doesn't mean that just like, if we didn't have a better winger than Timo, it could be different. But look, Ange decided to bring him in. I think look, he was one of our first signings. I think Ange clearly told the club he was happy to bring him in my opinion. And I think he has to take responsibility for that.
XG philosophy, Spurs 1.58, Wolves 0.54. I mean, the two goals that they scored must have been really low XG.
Yeah, very good strikes from places where they probably shouldn't be scoring from. So that's unfortunate. Obviously, one of the big things is the penalty we got as well. But yeah, I mean, look, I think we should have won the game. Unfortunately, we didn't, but we should have.
Spurs Connect saying, sack the whole medical department tonight. This is beyond embarrassing now. It's an injury every game. No excuses from this board if we're seriously about backing Ange. We desperately need to spend big on depth in January.
Yeah, we know that we're not going to spend big in depth in January. We might get one. I'd be surprised if we get more than one in Jan, to be honest, knowing this club. But
to be honest, we say that every Jan.
What? Yeah, true. So, I don't know. I mean, let's just hope that we can pull something out of some rabbits out the hat.
Lily White Rose saying, George Abbott has scored his second goal in a week. George Abbott, big up.
Look at this goal.
Wow.
Wow. Georgie.
I actually never saw that. That was brilliant. What a hit that was. Jay says, how loud they turned the music on when the boos started coming. I mean, literally, that music at the end of games just deafens you, doesn't it?
What's that song they always play? They always play the same one.
This time was different, though, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, they always do. They want to drown out the boos, don't they?
BATHFC says, the players physically can't give any more. Thursday, Sunday, every week since October with zero good depth options and give them a rest. It's not their fault we're in this position.
I don't think it's the players' fault totally, no. No, I don't think it's the players' fault.
Mitch Fretton says, players wanted Ange to change how we play, so we sat back after going 2-1 up, and surprise, surprise, it didn't work. So it doesn't work when we go forward, doesn't work when we go back, doesn't work when we do anything.
I mean, sometimes it works.
Not for a while.
No, but there's reasons for that.
Daily Hotspur saying, these are our next 5 matches. Newcastle at home, Liverpool at home in the semi-final, Tamworth away, Arsenal away, and Everton away. Well, I'm sure we'll beat Tamworth.
That's up for debate at the moment.
Yeah, look, these other 4 games, I mean, I don't know. How many points can you see in those 4 games? Well, one of them you don't get points for, but how many wins?
2 of them you don't get points for, but yeah.
No, I was talking about the Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool, and Newcastle.
Well, Liverpool's not our league game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, my point is, yeah, we might not win any of them. There's a chance that might happen, but I don't think a new manager comes in and wins any of them either.
You never know.
I just don't think so. I just don't see how.
Well, hopefully by the Arsenal game we should have a player or 2 back. You would think.
Maybe we can do something in the Emirates. Who knows? Probably not.
Johnny Blaine says, time to go. 5 home league matches without a win. Worst run since 2008. Keep them coming, Ange.
Yeah, I get it. It's not good. I'm not going to sit here and say it's great. And there's 100 I'm not saying there's no reason to sack him. I can see the reasons to. I'm just saying it would be a mistake. But I can understand the reasons people want him to be sacked. Of course, we're not in good form. It's been dreadful. 1.26 points per game. All this kind of stuff. There's all these reasons you could have won him sacked. I don't blame you for it. But I just personally think there are reasons for it. There's context, and I think it would have been a mistake to do it. But I can't sit here and say I don't see why anyone would want to sack him, because of course I do. But I just think it would be a mistake.
And last but not least, StatMuse FC saying Tottenham are the first team in Premier League history to fall 1-0 behind in 15 home games in a single calendar year.
Quite the record.
Yeah, we're full of these records.
Yeah, but we turned a lot of those around.
Yeah, just not the last 5.
Not the last 5.
I think